You know how I come up with one-on-one with the Undertaker? Gary Hart was there, and the guy didn't want to pay us. He made a bad mistake. Well, I ended up having to go to Russell's Court, and they took me to Russell's Court for selling Viagra to the boys.
There was, Vince told me on a couple of occasions while I was doing promos where I would let a yawl out, like, yawl. And that southern drawl would, every once in a while, it would sneak out.
It'd pick up
and
a promo.
They would have to edit it somehow or another. There's a couple of times I actually had to do a voiceover over my promo because
your own stuff.
Yeah, because my drawl would come out a little bit. I was pretty good about it. For every once in a while, I'd get too worked up and
for being a dead man,
a
dead hillbilly over there, a dead country boy,
a southwestern southern dead man.
Oh, I remember one time he was already down in the ring, and so I was getting ready to go out, and Vince, he calls me back, and he says, when you get down there, go to Taker, make him dance, do that dance. So I look at him, so I don't say nothing, so I go down. As soon as I see him, I said, do not hit me. Vince told me to do this. He looked at me and said, I ain't doing that shit.
that man had such a vendetta. Like, he just thought it was his goal to figure out ways to try, one, to crack me, two, to embarrass me some way. It was like, this is like what billionaires, this is how this billionaire gets it. He's trying to crack the talent that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
That was just his goal. The whole Spinneroonie thing, all of that, just him trying to get me to bust character. Like, you would think you would, like, man, you guys should watch that. That's what you should be doing. But nah, that was his. He didn't.
Now, when you were working with somebody, like y'all working together, right? Like, would he come to you and try to get you to do stuff to take, just using you sometimes?
No, he just made that up that day. I was just getting ready to go out, and he called me back, and he told me to go down and make Taker dance. So I just looked at him. I didn't say a word. You know, so.
He prefaced it. Please do not hit me. Yeah. I knew where it come from.
Don't kill the messenger.
Don't knock me out. Yeah. Not beat me up. Vince told me.
You know who was bad and in cahoots a lot with him was JBL. Because they're almost all the way through JBL's heel title run. I worked dark matches with him every night. Every night at TV, we worked the dark match. Dark matches are, everybody, I guess, everybody knows that now, but the non-televised, they advertise one match at TV. So at the end of the night, it's been a long day, and then I have to, I never knew what to expect. Coming out of JBL's mouth. I think and one time, I think he actually had an IFB, had the earpiece in, and Vince was feeding him stuff to say to me. Not that JBL needed it. Not that he needed it, because he was more than creative enough to come up with his own crap. But it was just like, every TV was like a hit. They were trying to get me, and it was like,
I got him one night though. Vince, Taker told me we was doing the deal where he had kidnap me and all that. So he's in the office and he's talking about his picture. He had a picture. He wanted me to show him his picture. So he went off script on me, and so I'm like, oh shit, he's saying I don't even know what he's talking about now. So I can't do nothing. I'm live, you know. So he said something to me, and I said something back to him, and I said, I work for you, sir. I stomped him. Taker told me. He walked away and left me. Taker said, I'd never seen anybody stomp him. He didn't have no words for me. Oh, yeah. I just told him, I work for you, sir. And that got him. He walked away. I saw him later on that night. He was leaving. He looks at me. He says, you're too much.
That didn't happen often, I can promise you that.
No, man.
Oh. Well, man, what you been up to, man?
Nothing, man. Just trying to stay alive. I'm still, going to the gym. I do these signing.
You benching every day still?
Not a whole lot.
Every day. Like
But that's all I do. I got upper body.
So Teddy and I, we meet in what, 89 at WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my manager, and every day we go to the gym. Teddy do chest every day.
That's all I had.
And dude,
Well, there's a reason why that's all you had.
I had
That's
no
all you
red.
do.
yeah, I mean, he looked like he was walking on pool cues, but for his size, he had a big old chest, man.
That's all I had was chest, and I'd work my abs. That's all I had.
It's like it's upper body business, right?
That's how you get the ladies, though. You know what I mean? You gotta.
It just became a running joke. Like, what you hitting today, Teddy? I'm gonna grab some chest. All right. Oh my goodness.
So you guys met in '89
Yeah.
in WCW, and
NWA too.
NWA.
Yeah, because you worked for Crockett, didn't you?
No. I came in. So I did some. So I came in as an enhancement talent for WCW. But yeah, I never hit Crockett.
Ole
yeah.
was booking then, right? When you came?
Yeah, Ole was the booker.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, you remember that night, that day me and you and Jim Hurd was in the office together. And,
Oh, yeah.
And Jim Hurd was, he told me that about Flair hated me. He said, I don't know why he doesn't like you. But Jim Hurd told me that to my face, and I think you left. You went on with the Vince.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, man, that was some strange. That was a strange company. They had the people running that. You know, Jim Hurd, the guy. He's come from Domino's or something like that. Domino's Pizza.
Yeah. And had a clue about wrestling.
Yeah.
yeah.
And obviously, my story with Ole. Like,
Yeah.
He told me I wasn't going to draw any
Wouldn't draw a
money.
dime. I was sitting there.
Yo, you were sitting there during that
I
meeting?
was sitting there. Ole came in there and said that to him.
I was like, all right, well,
You'll never draw a dime. And that
hey,
was
you
it.
know what? We did all right.
Yeah, I think y'all made a little bit of money over in.
Well, he was one of them. He'd never give you credit for nothing.
Yeah.
He was, God rest his soul too, but he was brutal, man.
So who put you guys together? How did that come about? Over in WCW, you being his manager.
I imagine Kevin Sullivan they was doing him and Eddie Gilbert was kind of doing the book, and it had to be with them, I guess.
Yeah. So Danny left. I think so. We got together after
Skyscrapers.
after the Skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of repackaged me for my singles deal there.
Yeah.
And we had that little run. And
Remember that night we was in Bennigan's, they sang Happy Birthday to you. We was in Greensboro and it wasn't your birthday.
yeah.
Paul Heyman.
Yep. Yep. I don't even know if the people they do that anymore in restaurants.
I don't
but
think they do
That
it
used to
either.
be the running gag. Get somebody to get the whole my buddy's birthday.
Yeah. Well, it's good at a Mexican restaurant. They give you the tequila shots.
We done the Bennigan, man. I
Yeah.
ain't seen a Bennigan since.
I think there's only a couple Bennigans
Yeah,
left
I think there's
across
only a
the
couple
country.
left. So '89, you guys get together. The question I have for you, Teddy, is: did you see something in him during that time that you knew that he was going to be that 35-year career?
I didn't have sense enough to recognize that then. I didn't know that much about the business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just kind of breaking in too. So I didn't have a clue whether who was gonna make it or who had this, who had. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I had. I didn't know what I had until I went to work for Vince.
Really?
I swear to God to you, man.
It's amazing the difference between the companies and developing developing talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually WWE, WWF. Then, I mean, that was they would sometimes throw a lot of things against the wall,
Yeah.
but at least they were going to give you opportunities, and they were actively trying to figure out what worked for you, what was going to be your niche, or what was going to be your deal.
Because it's insane to me to look back at those WCW days, and those late 80s, especially in early 90s, of the talent that came through there that never got developed properly or never got the right push or never, just never was packaged correctly. Then they go to WWE and become a Hall of Famer. That to me is just...
It was totally different there. When I went to WWE, that's when I really learned about the business. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot from Vince. God bless me to be able... He liked me, and I was able to go work close with him. He would come sometime and talk to me and tell me different little things that I did or what to do and not what to do. And he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I remember one time when we did the deal where he kidnapped me, and him and Vince was in the room talking, and they called me. And I'm sitting there now, I'm really honored now. I'm sitting with him, Vince, and Vince looks at me and says, "You gonna say anything?" I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm just listening. And so then we started rehearsing, me, him, and Vince. And we started like working backwards. And I started doing the promo from the backwards to the front. I remember that.
Yeah.
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 So to sit in there with him and Vince, that was an honor.
Is that how promos were typically done? This is going to be the finish of the promo, and they would work.
No,
work back
Vince
a little
just
bit?
did. No, that day that was just something he did. He just said we're working backwards, and I had to start backwards and go. That's how I did the promo.
Well, too, with promos, but when you book, when you book your programs. So you that's how they do that. That's where it starts. You book backwards. So you figure out, all right, where do I want to be at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Who do I want? And then you book backwards to how you're going to get to those two people or whatever that scenario is at WrestleMania, and then you have to lay it out all the way to the front where it starts. And then how you're going to get to where it ends, which is WrestleMania.
And I went over that promo and everything, all the way backwards.
So what do you say when you talk about working backwards? It's like you're trying to figure out what is it we want to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What is going to be the tagline, or what's going to set this promo off? Okay, and this is what we're looking for. So that's what you mean when you talk about working backwards. Like the front of it it'll figure itself out, but we want to make sure that when we go off the air or go to break, we want people we want their attention. So
yeah, hold them through that commercial, or hold them until next week, or whatever it's going to be.
Which I mean, obviously, that segment in the limousine, which is just classic,
iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, to a point where my dad, it was, I don't know, a year or two ago, and he goes, I think the funniest moment in wrestling history was when it was "Buckle Up, Teddy."
Yeah.
Oh.
And my dad mentioned that to me.
And I always remember what Vince was really high on selling, is making people believe, and I always kept that in my head about him, because I've seen him rip some people. Boy, I'm telling you, I said to myself, I hope he never does that to me.
Did you get out? Did you make your run without getting?
He got me one time. That was it.
That's good. That's a pretty good record, man.
Yeah, he come. Well,
Now, what did you do?
I had the dog match, and me and Randy Orton was on Randy's bus. So Randy was in the dog match. So me and Randy on the bus smoking.
This is late. This is not too long ago, is then?
No, so we on the bus smoking. So by this time we get ready to go to get ready to make the dog match. Well, we're in St. Louis. We're in Randy's hometown. Oh man, I'm feeling good. I go down there, ramp. I got the microphone on. He's the Viper. He's the Legend Killer. I done gave him 2 or 3 titles. Okay. By this time, I'm thinking everything all right, because the people reacting. I walk back through, and Vince is standing up,
well,
looking at me.
That ain't a good sign.
No. And I said then, oh, God. I knew it, man. And I went over there, and he said, you in business for yourself out there? I said, no. Well, God damn it. He lives here. They know he's the Viper. They know he's the legend. Why do you got to keep telling them? And I just confessed to him. I said, sir, I'll just be straight up and honest with you. I was playing. And I promise you that'll never happen again. And he looked at me and said, yeah, God damn it, you're better than that. And I walked on out, and I never did nothing else.
Wait a minute. What was he pissed about? What?
Because I was I gave him all these titles. We in St. Louis, so when I introduced him, I said, he's the Viper. He's the legend killer.
See, that ain't it. That's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
He got hot at me about that.
What did he want you to do?
He told me, he said, he lives here. They know he's the legend killer, the Viper. God damn it, you don't have to keep telling them.
You should. So, ladies and gentlemen, Randy Orton,
The son of Bobby Orton.
you know what though? I think he has so much on his plate at all times. Like sometimes he just had to be pissed about something.
He's got to fight. He's got to have a fight.
It's too simple because, and unless you said, St. Louis's own, maybe if you left that out, maybe he might have an argument. But that's what you're supposed to hype the whole situation. I have seen that man. Chew people out, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
oh.
I seen
and
it
I'm
too.
wondering why he's chewing this person out, and then he'd be finished
to do it.
Honestly, he would finish chewing somebody out, and then they would walk off, and you could just tell they're dejected. Nobody want to get chewed out by Vince because he does it in front of everybody too. And I remember, I'm trying to think who it was. He chewed somebody out, and I'm like, then the person left, and I'm looking at Vince, and he's looking at me, and he's like, what? I was like, what was that? He's like, God damn. You got to know. You got to know how to do this stuff. I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you yelling at him like that? And he just smiled at me, put his headphones back on and start watching the monitor again. And I'm like,
he just had to get it out of
him. And then he would look back at me, like he would watch the monitor for a little bit, and then he would look back at me, and then he would just go,
just laugh. Did he ever do it? Did you?
Oh, man.
Did you get a good chewing out?
Early on, I got one of the best ones when I was doing. And I talked about it actually in my Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
The perception is reality thing. That was the first time that he chewed me out was for the tattoo.
Yeah.
He laced me for a good 45 minutes on that about ruining the mystique and the character, and I couldn't do that without talking to him. I was like,
Mark.
Yes, sir.
Our great sponsor here, Artisan Grange. We've talked about them for a while now. These guys got a little CBD pouch, 5 milligrams, great flavors.
Which flavor is this?
This is the wintergreen. So if you're trying to come off dip or anything like that, you have to cut. These are brand new cans. Artisan Grange help you out. Ooh, look at you with your knife. I've seen you sitting over there with that today.
I thought I might need it.
Artisan Grange is a company started when a group of former tobacco dippers wanted a dip alternative that actually tasted like tobacco. So they decided to make one on one condition. It supports American farmers. No matter what your taste, hemp dip satisfies without tobacco, nicotine, or fake fillers. Each pouch contains 5 milligrams of full spectrum CBD from the hemp. The community of hemp dippers who have switched from tobacco and other alternatives is a proud group of dippers who have pride in dipping as a simple pleasure again. One you can do because you want to, not because you have to, and supporting the American tradition of farm quality. So, thank you, Artisan Grange, for sending us some of this product. You gotten in there yet?
I can't get in.
What is? Man. You can tell you're from the West Coast over here in Texas.
The West Coast. The Southwest Coast.
It smells good. It smells like a wintergreen.
Did you get one?
Yeah, it tastes pretty good.
That's pretty,
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, thank you, Artisan Grange, once again for supporting 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway.
Thank you, Artisan Grange. I was working with this extra, and
Enhancement talent.
yeah, Yeah, job guy. And that's what they used to be
what
jobbers, right?
That's what they said. Yeah, that's what it was back in the day.
No, they're supposed to their enhancement talent.
Now I'm
that
gonna
is-
get hate because I didn't use enhancement talent. I was a jobber. I got jobbed out by the Road Warriors. Anyway, this guy, he was awful, and he was nervous. And back then, we were doing like 3-4 weeks of TV in a row, and then we toured. I mean, we were on the road all the time, so all the matches on TV were enhancement matches. It was just getting your move set in, killing somebody, and then going, right? So I've got this kid, a local kid, looks like about 260 pounds, chewed bubble gum, non-athletic, and he's nervous. And I'm trying to get this character over as this killer, and this guy is screwed up. Like, he screws up one move after another move after another move. I was young. I was a little immature. So I rough him up a little bit.
Doesn't sound like you at all.
Shut up, Matt.
You learned that in the old school.
It's old school, right? Now you don't do. I mean, I've evolved.
Different man.
I'm a different man now. So, but then it's just that's the way it happened to me. It's just that's the way it was. It's just the way it was.
That's exactly
Good,
right.
bad, or indifferent. It's just the way it was. I roughed this kid up a little bit, right? I come back through the curtain and I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm cussing, right? And I'm back in gorilla position, and Vince is up again. Vince is standing up, and he grabs me. We walk. He actually didn't light me up right there in front of everybody. He grabbed me and took me through the curtain. And he said, "You feel good about yourself?" And it was just like quiet. Well, do you feel good about yourself? No. What do you like? You just embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed that kid. And just he starts going off on me, like, that is not who we are. That's not what we do here. And I'm young and I'm fired up. This kid, I felt like this kid made me look bad, so I'm trying to defend myself. And now we're in this argument, and then, dude, he hit another gear on me, and that's when he says, "You know what? Perception is reality, and reality is everybody thinks you're an asshole right now." I'm like, oh, that one hit a little. That one hit a little close.
He didn't
But
care.
so we kind of went our own ways there for the rest of the night, and it kind of sunk in. Like, I get what he's saying, right? I do look like an ass because this kid, obviously, he shouldn't have been in that situation, and I should have been able to realize that. But you're so wound up. This is how different the business is today compared to then. It's evolved in such a good direction for the most part, but back then you took every, and Teddy, you can attest to this. You took every little thing that happened, and it was blown completely out of proportion. It's because you thought that it was going to hinder your growth or hinder your your rise or where you were going to be put on the cards and everything else. It was just. Yeah. So I did. He cussed, and I deserved that cussing. But there's a few other ones that I took that I didn't necessarily need. But
that one sunk in apparently.
that one actually was a lesson taught and learned. So
I learned from him. I watched him, and I made sure I didn't do none of that. You know how I come up with one-on-one with the Undertaker? I was in Madison Square Garden. I never will forget. And Stephanie had went out and introduced somebody. Well, when she come back, Vince was waiting on her. And I was standing there, and he stopped her. And he wasn't cussing her or nothing, but he was telling her, he says, when you introduce people, I want you to put some emphasis on it. Make it mean something. He kept doing this, so.
kind of like you did to Randy, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Wasn't right.
So he kept doing this, and so I got it, So I went out that night, and I made that first introduction, one-on-one with The Undertaker. And I come back, and he did that to me, and I just kept right on walking. walking.
So that's where you got. I mean, you
did
saw that mistake by someone else.
I saw him
and-
getting on Stephanie about it. He didn't even know I was standing there.
Yeah.
But I kept remembering it. I said, okay, I got it. I see what he wants.
That's just being a professional, picking up on things like
Yeah,
that. You know what
Well,
I
I
mean? And
wanted
that's-
to satisfy that. You didn't want that man now getting on you, man.
There is absolutely zero chance I would have ever went on commentary.
Oh.
They got it the absolute worst.
Oh, I've heard horror stories about.
He made Nick Foley get up and leave.
Yeah.
He was cussing him so bad, he got up and left.
And the funny thing is, though, and what people don't realize, like there were two really good places to watch the show from.
Yeah.
Either at gorilla position next to Vince, or go to the truck and listen to Kevin Dunn communicate to his people. Oh, just priceless. But the thing is, and I get this, and I don't. It doesn't really bother me, but when it's done, it's over. Like when the show was over, he wasn't mad at Mick. He wasn't mad at. No one's mad at anybody. But in the heat of the moment, and especially during when we were getting our tails handed to us in the ratings and everything, man, it was a little tense.
It's because you care. You know what I
It's
mean?
because you care.
And that's the whole thing. It's like in any business when that leader is in those moments like that. I think a lot of people don't realize that business owner, he's got or she's got everything on the line.
Yeah.
You know, all their money, their family, their reputation, everything is on the line. If it fails, they lose everything.
You know what he told us one time in a meeting? He walked in there and he started talking. He says, and by the way, all of you running up to me talking about how's my family doing? You don't give a shit about my family. God damn it, I don't want that ass kissing. I don't want that. That's what he said.
He didn't want yes men around him.
No, he told us that in the meeting. And
He was surrounded by those.
he told us that Taker was the mule. He told us that in the meeting. He's carrying the company. I'll tell you what he is, the goddamn mule here. Yeah, that's what he said, man.
So over in WCW or any other, organization, was that same passion from the leadership, or was it just a disorganized? They would scream at you just to scream at
Yes.
you.
Yeah, they didn't have a clue.
No, they would. No, there wasn't the. It was weird. It was that old. Vince was different. There was even an older school mentality, I think, at WCW, where it was that territory mentality of promoters always trying to screw you, and then everybody is just stab you in the back, and that it was just different. There wasn't a lot of room for, in my opinion, in my experience with WCW, when the time that I was there wasn't a lot of room for growth. You had your established guys, and there wasn't a concerted effort to develop really new people.
Yeah.
There was just this is the core group of guys, and there was a heck of a group of guys there, but there was no looking down the road kind of mentality like
no future.
we need new stars. Where I think with Vince there was always that who's going to come up and who's going to challenge grab that brass ring. But man,
Because if you think about it, I mean, they never. It didn't feel like they developed a lot of guys over in WCW, or really in any other territory. It felt like us. I mean, if you think about the champion, you think about Ric Flair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over at WWE, there's 10 guys you can name off as champions that are quality champions.
right,
If you think about WCW, think about one guy as the champion.
right.
Or Hogan, during the NWO years, right? They never felt like they allowed anyone else to compete for that. And then when they did, they would bring in like a Goldberg or something like that, and it just didn't feel right. And I just felt like they had so much talent, but they didn't use the talent the right way. And they didn't allow the talent to be what they could be.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot later down the line too. From when Bill came in and all that was much later down the line from when
what
I
you
was
guys
there.
were doing.
When we were there.
I was there with Bill.
You were there when Bill came through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What year did you start with WWE?
98.
98. I thought you.
I went in refereeing. That was the first
Yeah.
job I had. Then they had a meeting, and I remember Slaughter telling me that him and Earl Hebner brought my name up to Vince. And that's when Lord Niders had screwed me, sent me home. And I was at home, and then they called me back to come back to work after they told Vince what I could do. And that's when I went back as managing.
Who was your first talent that you?
Oh, Mark Gentrek, I think the reflection of perfection. I had him, Johnny B. Bad. No, I didn't never have him in New York. He was in WCW.
New York. That's old school. New York. You hear that? That's not what you referred to. It was New York. It wasn't WWF. Yeah. You going up to New York? Yeah. That's fun.
But that basically was Sid, Danny, I believe. I don't know. They wasn't even in New York. I had them in WCW. Yeah, I managed. It was Mark Gentrek there that I managed, and Rodney Mack, Jazz, Mark Henry. It might have been somebody else too. I don't remember.
Then you got that upgrade.
Yeah,
Got that upgrade to GM.
And they didn't tell me. You know, I didn't even know nothing about it. What they said, I finally found out they didn't tell me because they said they had been telling guys what they were going to do, and the guys would go put it right on the internet as soon as they hear it. Yeah. So they didn't tell me nothing until like 5 minutes before the show started. That's when they told me.
Really?
Internet screwed up the business, brother.
Yeah.
Internet screwed the business.
Yeah.
So when you were over at WCW, though, I remember you managing Doom.
Yeah.
That's what I remember you as managing them. I think that's my first real memory of you.
Well,
And
Nancy Sullivan, Kevin Sullivan, Benoit's wife, God rest her soul, she was managing them at first. And they were called the Ebony Express. They had masks on. And then Kevin Sullivan, I think, brought my name up about I could talk. When I started riding with Kevin and Eddie Gilbert, my career when I first started, before I even got in wrestling, was in radio. I worked as a disc jockey on the radio station, and I worked for James Brown for a while. So I told Kevin and Eddie Gilbert about all that. So what we would do, I was riding with them, we'd get a 6-pack, a 12-pack, and we hit the road, and I started turning the radio down, started DJing for them. Well, they seen something else. I'm just DJing, drinking beer, having a ball. I'm just, but they saw something else, and so that's how I got into managing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot of creativity in car rides from town to town.
Yeah.
Are those guys riding in cars like that anymore?
I don't. There's still some that ride in the cars. I don't know that they're drinking a case of beer on the way.
Probably not.
And then the top guys, I think mostly all have buses now.
Yeah.
Which is, if you can afford, that's smart. That's self-preservation. I wish I'd have figured that part out sooner.
Yeah.
But
do you think you lose a
no,
little
you use
bit?
a lot. Yeah, no. Unless you got guys on your bus, I can't imagine. Like if I'd had the BSK, if I had the BSK on the bus, that bus might have got run off the road. I don't know what would have happened there.
I don't think Michelle's in your life.
No, that's definitely no.
I don't think there's a lot of things.
No, my career would have been over long.
Oh,
yeah.
That would not have been self-preservation by getting the bus.
No. But when I did get on the bus, I'd got all that was all past me. But but you do, I think, unless you're traveling with somebody, you lose a lot of camaraderie and creativity. Because it'll start out, you're talking about whatever happened that night, and then it just kind of steamrolls into, man, what do you think about that? Boom, 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 and then the more you drink, the more you get creative sometimes.
Yeah, that's what we used to do in the car. We used to come up with ideas. I just sit back and listen.
Yeah.
Kevin then would let me sometimes say something. So then after I started understanding a lot more, then I was able to, kind of help out a little bit.
See, as a young guy in that time period, if you were in the car with veterans, dude, you learn more. You learn more psychology. You learn more life than you could ever anywhere else. All you had to do is sit in the back and open the beers.
That's it.
And listen. Yeah. It was like it was the proverbial Ernie Ladd learning tree. Yeah. It was just you just got so many gems of knowledge.
Man, I had the opportunity to ride with Gary Hart.
Oh man,
I rode with him in Kabuki. I had the opportunity to ride with them, man. I learned a lot from Gary Hart.
dude, he was a sharp
Yes,
wrestling mind.
He could walk in an arena and he could just look and he could tell you exactly what the house was. He could look at it and he could tell you exactly what the gate was.
Great heel
Oh,
manager.
yeah.
Good promo.
Yes,
God,
and
he
it was
was
so
good.
smooth. You know, he wasn't loud or nothing. He
Yeah.
was just, yeah.
Had a little bit of that Chicago slang kind of thing.
And Gary-
he was really slick. Like
Yeah, and he didn't play either, man. I went one time, we went to Birmingham, Alabama, worked for some independent guy or something. I don't remember. I think Mike Jackson had it booked over there, but Gary Hart was there, and the guy didn't want to pay us. He made a bad mistake.
He pulled a razor.
He had more than a raise. He had a knife about that long. So he went right over there to him. He said, now what you going to do? You going to give us our money or what you going to do here?
It's a little different, right? People, hey, you know what? Let me tell you, thank you for bringing it up. People called shit on me when I went on Rogan and told back in the day that guys carry guns and knives in their bags. You know,
Yeah.
there was bullshit called on me like, how'd you go through TSA? Well, it wasn't a TSA
It wasn't,
back then.
yeah.
And we were in the car, and that's I'm telling you, man, it was just a whole different ball
Different
game
era,
back
yeah.
then. Dude, it was the wild, wild west. And I'm glad. I am so happy that the business has evolved to where it is now, so guys don't have to worry about that. But that's funny that you just brought up something. You just didn't mess with people. I mean, there were fights, but you
no.
didn't.
And it was mainly the promoters just not wanting to pay
Dude.
talent. Is that what the
Well,
biggest thing was?
All the independent promoters, you know, you'll find some good ones and you're going to find some bad ones. So, that's-
like Nick Goudas would always say, it ain't what you make, it's what you save.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, well, I can't save anything because
If
I
I
can't
don't
afford
make
to
anything.
eat. I can't afford to eat every day. I mean, when I was in Tennessee, I mean, there were days I didn't eat just because.
we was working for Jim Crockett. I was refereeing then, me and Earl Hebner. We went in, we stopped at a grocery store, and we went in the store. We was finna go get us something to eat. We was gonna get a loaf of bread and some souse meat, you know, so we could eat. We get in the grocery store, God, this is a true story. We going down the aisle, we look up, we see Bugs and McGraw. Now, Bugs is in there, he's got a buggy, and he's got a loaf of bread, and he's got sandwich meat and everything in this buggy. But he's going up and down the aisles like he's shopping, but he's really not.
He's eating.
He's fixing him some sandwiches, and he's eating. Oh, yeah. And he's just shopping and eating and continue going
It's
up
like
and down
eating the grapes, out of the bag, you know?
Yeah. That's how the money
But he's
was.
eating them.
That's
He's
how the
making
money was
sandwiches.
back then. Wasn't no money, man. I
Man.
made $75 putting up the ring, taking the ring down, and refereeing. And I didn't have no help like it is now. I had to, on WCW Saturday night, I had to referee all their matches, and Saturday morning, all of them. It was a total of 16.
And then tear the ring
And
down,
then tear the
and then
ring
take
down.
it to the next town.
Right.
And make $75 a week doing
Every
it?
setup. No, just
Oh, every time you would do a
just
setup,
we
it's
set up the
$75.
ring, yeah.
And be
Well,
happy to get it.
yeah.
And that's a 12-hour day.
Brother, we put the ring up around Christmas time. We do Greensboro in the day, 2:00 show, and once that show was over, drive it straight to Atlanta and set it up for Atlanta that night
On Christmas Day.
on Christmas Day.
Jeez.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Wrestling's under the tree this
Your
year.
promoters ain't.
That's paying dues, brother.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And I
Tim.
remember one time I had to get the ring up. I didn't have no help. I had my son. During that time, I think he's about 6 years old. And I had to go down to center stage so I could get it up for Saturday morning. And it took me and him all night to put that ring up. He's 6 years old. He's trying to help me carry heavy stuff, and he's crying, because it was so heavy. Till he's just crying. But I stopped and let him rest, but I had to get that ring up.
Mark, I got to start doing better, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to start doing better. I got to start exercising. I got to start eating better. I just got to start making some changes in my life. I keep saying this.
How long we going to talk about?
It's been almost a year, but I've got to I got to do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna this holiday season, I'm gonna do better.
You're going to do better in the holiday season.
I'm gonna do better during the
You're
holidays.
going to pick the holidays to do better.
It seems like a good time.
Okay, hey,
this
bro,
time,
hey.
it's better than ever. It's better than ever.
All right.
And Magic Spoon's gonna help me. I'm gonna just eat Magic Spoon from sun up to sundown. I think that's what's gonna do it. Our friends over there, they've got great product. You keep it in your house. You don't let your kids eat it.
No.
You're
no,
just
my
eating
kid,
it by
no,
yourself.
No, I
at
hide
night.
it. No, I hide it because they would eat it, and they can get away with eating regular cereal. But
And everybody knows about the cereal, but not everybody knows about the treats here, man.
the treats.
Magic Spoon. They turned their popular cereal into high protein treats that are light, crispy, and taste just like those classic crunchy cereal bars.
See, I'd have to have those because actually, my kids don't like milk. Well, one of my kids doesn't like milk,
Yeah.
so she'd eat that up quick.
Oh, yeah. So it's just Magic Spoon's brand new treats are delicious and have already become the favorite for an after gym snack, pre-workout,
Yeah.
all of those.
Yeah, I don't know how they make it taste so good with zero sugars, 4 net carbs, and loaded with protein,
Yeah.
and it tastes good.
It actually tastes good.
Yeah, like I don't.
And I think that's the one thing about it. When people see this stuff, they go, "Oh, it's probably going to taste like the box that it came in."
Right.
But
No,
in
you're
all
pleasantly
reality,
surprised.
You're pleasantly surprised. Absolutely.
How they do that?
Not mine. I have no idea, but they
Is
do
that
it.
the magic part?
That's the magic part. That's the magic part. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa. There's so many more, though. And Magic Spoon's brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter.
That's got your name written all over
Bro,
it,
we
brother.
ran through these.
What? You got a mouse in your pocket? All I
And-
saw was an empty box.
For our fans and listeners, get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/6feet. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/6feet for $5 off. Magic Spoon. Hold on to the dream.
Hold on to the dream. It's going to turn your world around,
It's
brother.
going to turn your world around. Thank you, Magic Spoon. So you go from DJing, like you're working on doing radio and stuff like that, right? So how did you get your first opportunity to do something in wrestling? How did that happen?
Well, by me working with James Brown had us. He come to Atlanta and he come up with a dance show like Soul Train, and it was called Future Shop. Well, when I seen that, I went down to TBS and met James and asked him. I said, "You need anybody to help you on this thing right here?" And so he gave me a job as the music director. What I did was just select the music for the people to dance by. Well, they was also taping NWA, WCW in the same Turner Brook in the same studio. So I would go down and watch wrestling because I could get in for free because I'd been, with James Brown.
Yeah.
They would let me in security. So that's how I ended up getting in wrestling, is going down watching wrestling after James would do his taping.
So you go down there and watch it. And what was your first job?
My first job was going to the ring getting jackets. Well, I run into Abdullah. Okay, one day I was standing in line, me and my son. Not so much as in line, but we were just waiting till somebody come got us in. Well, Abdullah had just come to town. He liked to go to the clubs and stuff, so he didn't have nobody to show him around. So they had a club called Mr. V's, and that's what I knew about that on Campbell Road, so I started taking Abdullah there. Every time we go to TV station, once the show's over, I'd take him to Mr. V's. So by me being with Abdullah, I could get in the back. You know where the boys are, because back then, kayfabe, they took it real serious.
Yeah.
So, but I got back there, so I just started making myself busy. I started dumping trash cans. I would see if anybody wanted anything to eat, so I'd run errands and stuff like that. Then I'd go to the ring and get jackets. Well, the guys was happy with me getting their jackets because a lot of guys would leave their stuff and the fans would take it. So that's how I kind of got in too. I'd go get their stuff and make sure, the guys got their stuff back. But that's how I started. And I didn't get no money for that. I was just hanging out, just made myself busy.
Yeah.
Then that job came over to put the ring up, take the ring down, and that's how I got that job, by how it had already been down there, just hanging around. Because that's how they kind of kept it back in the day. It was in-house.
Man.
That's a long road, brother. That
That's
is a
starting
long...
from the bottom, if there was ever a bottom, you know?
Where's the bottom? Here's the bottom. I'll tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you this. I guess we'll get started. This is great right here. I remember the night this how I started refereeing. I was just putting the ring up, taking the ring down. Didn't have no mind on refereeing. So the referee didn't show up that night. So Louise Manning, she was the promoter. So she come and got me. She says, Teddy, you're going to have to referee tonight. We don't have no referee. I said, I don't know anything about that. I never referee. She says, don't worry. The guys will talk to you. They'll take care of you. First match I had was Ron Bass and Black Bart. Texas Death Match. They're bleeding all over the place. They got a gimmick they're using. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. Black Bart drops the gimmick. He's hitting Ron Bass and he finally drops it. Well, I pick it up and throw it out of the ring. Because I'm thinking, he's killing him. I throw it out of the ring. Take him, remember this. You remember a guy used to walk around the ring back in the day? It was Donnie Payne. He would always be in Atlanta. He would always get the jacket. But Donnie caught the gimmick before a fan got it. And he saved it, okay? Now, I won't get back in the ring. I done got out the ring because they done scared me to death. So I hear the ring announcer yelling at me, get back in the ring, get back in the ring. Finally, I get back in the ring. I'm clueless, man. I ain't got a clue, but I'm saying to myself, I know I'm done.
You knew that much.
I know I'm done. Say what saved me is Charlie McGowan. When they got ready to go home, Charlie rang the bell too quick on the finish. He screwed the finish up, so they got so mad at him that they forgot about me. It's a true story.
Man, you got a 4-leaf clover in your pocket.
That was your first referee match.
A Texas Death Match. Ron Bass and Black Bart.
Oh, goodness.
And they bleed and they scared me so bad, brother. And when I seen that gimmick and he dropped it, I said, oh, I know I got to get this out of here. And I took it and threw it out. But like I said, the guy was standing around. He caught it before one of the fans picked it up.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't nothing but something. They had some tape wrapped around something they had.
So for you, I mean, what has changed with refereeing from when you were doing it to the time it is now? Because I feel like now it's probably just like a wrestler where these guys, they probably try out for it. They got to go through a lot, I would imagine, because, I mean, it's a very important role.
Well, I look at some of it now. They still have some guys that are really good refs, and they got some guys that are really not. I just don't know what to say about some of them. Now, I looked at some of them, a couple of guys I saw on AEW one night. It was just bad. Just bad. I mean, how can you look at something and not do something about it?
Yeah. The ref is just, I mean, he's another worker.
Yeah.
And you have to know,
Yes.
you have to know what your role in telling the story is. And you can't insult people's intelligence. And that's what I think you're talking about. You can't see something, directly see something.
And don't do nothing
about it. It just, I understand what we do and we tell everybody everything, but there's still a certain integrity to a match.
When you're out there, your job is to make these people believe what you're doing. Okay, I could do stuff with facials. I didn't have to do a whole lot. Like when I was doing the stuff with Vic Guerrero, she was pushing around in a wheelchair, but I had the expression on my face like, one day, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew it was coming. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great analogy. Yeah.
But that's all the way I kept. And I used to tell her stuff to do to me, that I could sell for her. You know what I mean? But I gave the people the impression that, y'all, okay, he's coming back.
Yeah.
She going off a cliff one day.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be the reason why. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
So so for you as a referee, does the referee have those conversations with the wrestlers before the match as well? Like
back in the day, they did. I imagine now they probably still do it with certain matches because they do rehearse some. They don't rehearse them all. But back in the day, man, you had to get with whoever you was working with. The referee got with them, and you knew exactly what they were doing. Before you ever went out there, and if they were going to use you, you knew exactly what they were going to do, and you knew where to be.
And sometimes, too, back in the day, the ref, like, when we go back to talking about kayfabe and everything, you'd be in a building and you'd be on opposite ends of the building. The heels are in one dressing room, the baby faces are in another, and the referee could go back and forth.
Yeah. You had to take the finish,
Like
go
take the finish.
finishes
If
back.
the promoter didn't want to do it, like, hey, Harley, you're up. You're up. What do you want to take it on him with, right? So the referee would also, he would deliver all that information.
So you'd have to deliver the message to the other wrestlers.
I'd go to the babyface dressing room, talk to them, and then go back, go to the heel. Tell, okay, here's what he said. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what he want to do.
Was there ever any times where you got a message, you go over, you tell the message, the person's like, nope, not going to happen tonight?
Oh yeah, I used to get that all the time.
Are you kidding me, right?
Well, you go tell that son of a bitch I'm not doing that.
I mean, hey, don't shoot the messenger, right? That's where it comes from. Don't shoot the messenger.
Is that what that motherfucker told you to come over here and tell me?
So now you're in the middle of an argument where you're.
I'm just telling you what he said. Well, goddamn it, you'd go tell that.
It's so fun. It's so great.
I remember one time I was in the ring with Steve Dr. Dale Williams, Road Warrior Hawk. Both of them, they're gone. God rest their soul. Great guy. I think Doc potatoed Hawk. Hawk got pissed off about it, and next thing I know, they were hitting each other for real. So I'm in trying to break it up, and Doc grabs me, and he takes me and he puts me right in the corner, and he says, "You stay right there. Don't move." And they just start beating the out of each other, brother.
Did that happen a lot? Did you see not a lot, but did you see where there was moments in the ring where you were trying to maybe step in and say, "Come on now," and they were like, "No, don't you just you need to get out of the way."
I've been in a couple of matches like that. Yeah, got out the way. They take you stand over there.
A man's got to know his limitations. Sometimes you just got to go. I tried.
Yeah,
I'm not getting hit by one of these
right.
guns.
I ain't them right. You want me to stay over there in the corner? That's exactly where I'm going, and I didn't move.
You actually got to get far enough away that they can't reach you and act like you're trying to break it up.
Right. I'm in the corner just doing this. Stop.
Yeah.
Quit that. Quit that.
Yes.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Let's have a good match. Why are you don't punch each other
And then
like
those
that?
two got out the ring that night, and there was a dressing room there. They both went in that room and locked that door. Couldn't nobody get in there. And then when they got through beating each other's ass, then they come on out.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Well,
They locked that door. Could nobody get in there. And we heard them. That was about it. And when they got through beating each other up, they come on out.
Probably went and had a beer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
what's the best match you ever saw as a referee?
Oh, God, I saw a lot of them, man. Worked with a lot of guys, especially with him, with Taker, his matches and stuff. I had a good time with the Midnight Express. They were good. They had great matches. Rock and Roll Express, they had great matches.
The Midnight and the Rock and Roll Express, but they had some awesome tags.
Classics. Woo. And I mean, you worked when you worked with them, but I enjoyed it. I wanted to work. I wanted to be able to move around. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a prime example of those matches, how because there's a heel team and a babyface team. And there's going to be outside interference because Cornette's around working the floor.
Yeah.
So he's got to be in the right spot so he doesn't see anybody get hit with a tennis racket or any of that.
That's got to be that's something a lot of people don't think about is the fact of what the referees got to do as well as being able to sell the fact of I can't see.
But you know what
Cornette
I would do when I'd hear Cornette hit with the racket? I sold it, but I never looked around. I'd like, what did that? Like, where did that come from? That's how I sold it. But I never looked back to see it happen. I heard it, so I got to make some kind of,
everybody in the whole place heard it.
Everybody else is telling you. He hit him with a tennis racket.
Yeah, I'm just playing it off. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Did you hit him with that tennis racket?
No, then that's my next spot. I'll go there and they say no. I didn't see it.
What an awesome business. It's so good.
I think people discount what the referee actually does in a match.
Well, sometimes the referee's job is more important than the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, because sometimes some matches are designed basically what a referee does. He is the guy.
Yeah.
That's what makes it at the end there.
Yeah.
Something he doesn't see, or he takes a bump or something, and he's out of the way. So
Yeah, I mean, there's been, you've had several of those matches where the ref's out over here, and
Well, there's a classic where in the Mania, I think it was with Edge, where referee takes a bump and Charles Robinson has to run that whole ramp. He's like
that is
it was like a 70-yard ramp,
That's
and
a
he's
classic,
he's having to sprint to the ring.
So by the time you get down there, you blow it up.
it's like,
Count.
have you ever been in the middle of a count when the guy's supposed to kick out and you're like, that three's coming down and you're like, come on.
I counted them out. I did it. I got it. I got in trouble, but then I didn't get in trouble because I was doing my job. Well, I can't stop. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, that's the key.
And that happened not too long ago in WWE on a match where he got to like 2 and the person
hit the
didn't
air
kick
brakes.
The person didn't kick out. It was like, I think it was like SummerSlam it was pretty recent. And 2 should have been 3. Person doesn't kick out.
Well,
so the finish was messed up.
That's because the referee knew the finish.
Yeah.
He knew that wasn't the finish. That's why he didn't count. But you can't do that out there with the people. You got to count.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sitting there watching it. I think it was SummerSlam, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, that hurts regardless, like I said, regardless of what everybody knows and everybody's on the internet, all that crap, it doesn't matter. When you're in the moment, you're in the moment. And that right there just kills
everything.
Kills the whole thing that everybody's been working for. I am of the belief your count should be the same every time, and the talent doesn't kick out, or the other talent doesn't have the presence of mind to figure out something. You got to count. You can't hit for no reason. Like if there's no reason for you to stop, you have to count just for the integrity of the business. Yeah.
Right.
I think the worst 3 count was Mike Tyson in the Stone Cold match that he had, and even Steve talks about it where he goes, "I didn't get that champion's 3 count." Where
he hit it quick, didn't he? Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, you're getting somebody outside of.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tyson didn't know it, right?
I bet he didn't bitch much about it. Steve didn't. But
no. I think that check still
that was a great count. Great count.
Yeah, great count. Perfect.
Let's drink a beer.
Well, yeah, he looked at Tyson, man. You were the best ref I've ever seen in my life. So you've literally worn a lot of hats in wrestling. You know what I mean? So
I did ring announcing, play-by-play, color guy, did it all.
Yeah. What's the hardest job that you did?
Putting up the ring,
well,
taking the ring down.
I knew he was going to say that.
You say that all the time, too.
It sucks, man.
Those guys are that's the hardest job. What's the hardest job? Not physically like that, but what's the hardest job? In front of the camera.
Yeah.
Is remembering your lines.
Yeah.
That would imagine. Yeah, that's what I would think, especially being the GM, because you got promo segments all through the show.
That is true.
And different people that you've got to engage with.
Vince always testing you. He's always, you know what he did to me one time? I had 2 pages of stuff that I had got in my head because I had to go out and open up. I done remembered all this, okay? One reason I kind of got over with him, too, God bless me with a good memory, I would always go to rehearsal and I'd have no paper. I'd always get it in my head for rehearsal, and when everybody else in rehearsal had their papers, I didn't have none. I was just, because I'd already remembered it, and Vince liked that because he wanted it to be real.
Yeah, it's the holiday season. Mm-hmm. People are going to probably eat a little too much, maybe put a few pounds on.
Oh, yeah,
I've been known to do that.
Yeah, you started early.
Yeah, I started back in like March.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this time of the year, you don't have to be terrible. You can still work out. You can still try to get that workout in. Mm-hmm. Something that's going to help you, give you a little bit of motivation, is that first Phorm ignition. That right there, buddy. That'll get you off the couch.
That'll get you off the couch.
And that will get you in the gym.
Yep. And this is definitely bulking season.
Bulking season.
So yeah, you got to use stuff. You have to use stuff like ignition to get you going, man. And first Phorm, Yeah, they hit it right on the mark with this. You get a little bit of that in your system, yeah. A full belly, yeah, you're going to want to hit the gym.
And, you know, we don't promote anything that we actually don't believe in. This is something you've said off camera and everything else. Their pre-workout.
Oh, it's
legit.
Oh, it is legit. There are many times where I have to go in deep because I don't feel like training. I don't have to anymore if I don't want to.
And that makes it tough.
And it does make it tough. So and I'm not sometimes I have super discipline and sometimes not so much. But I tell you what, if I get in the ignition, well, I'm gonna work out
whether you want to or not.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I got to burn that off. And no, First Phorm, First Phorm definitely got it right there. And what a product!
Absolutely, they've been with us essentially since the beginning. Great folks over there that make great products, great human beings, great Americans. We love everything about what they're doing. You know, this holiday season, it's fine. If you want to eat that extra piece of pumpkin pie, that's fine. But just remember.
What about some white meat turkey? Like the late night, why does it got to be pumpkin pie?
I love me some good pumpkin pie, boy. Let me tell you something.
Might we digress there?
Oh, and the casseroles. Dude. Man alive. I'm not a turkey guy.
You're not a turkey guy.
I like turkey sandwiches.
What's
I
your
don't
meat
like
of choice?
Ham. Give me a ham.
Figured.
Oh, man. My ankles will be swollen by like Saturday from all the ham I eat.
You swallow all that sodium.
All that sodium.
Blown up like a puffer fish.
It's bad. It's bad. It's to a point where like I have to. So I buy a ham for myself for the whole weekend. I'll cook it at the house and I'll eat the whole thing myself.
I don't need to know all that.
So it's pretty bad. So, but come Monday,
take that home with you.
After Thanksgiving,
take that home with you.
I'm going to start my First Phorm regiment and get back in the gym and get myself in shape. That's the only way I can do it.
I normally hoard all the ignition when we have it here on set. Take that with you.
Take this one with me.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate First Phorm, guys. Go check out First Phorm. The link is in our description, and get yourself some great products. They got all kinds of stuff over there. They got beef sticks. They got the pre-workout. They got the proteins. They got everything you want.
Protein's really solid too.
Yeah, really good flavors there. The stuff works. Go check them out. Thank you, First Phorm, for supporting our podcast. We appreciate it.
I got ready to walk out. He calls me. He says, "What are you saying out there tonight?" He know what I'm saying because he has to approve it. So I don't say nothing. So he made me go do this whole promo all over to him. Then when I got through, well, I don't want you saying that. Here's what I want you to say. So now my music is playing, so now I'm trying to remember every word that he has just told me because I'm on my way down now. I got to remember all this brand new. But I was lucky. I had a good memory. I was lucky enough to pull it off. I was blessed.
Yeah, you was blessed with a good memory. That happened a lot.
Yeah.
That was the whole, have you been lately? Have you been to a WWE show lately?
I was there in Seattle.
With Paul running it now?
Yeah.
It is so calm. It's hard to explain how hectic, especially through the Attitude Era and all the way up. It was just chaos because things like that happen. Things would get changed last minute. He would decide that's not the promo that he wanted. There was just but it is so calm now. Yeah. Everybody is so chill. Like everybody used to be walking around on eggshells and I shouldn't say that. There just used to be a sense of almost anxiety. But now,
Vince kept you on your toes.
He kept you on your toes.
I appreciated what he did for me, because that was good for me, because I needed that. You know what I mean? Because I would stray and start playing. So I understood you don't play up here. Yeah. So he made me. He. I'm telling you, he helped me out a lot.
You needed to have. I don't know if fear is the right word, but you needed a little bit of
I needed to understand what the business was.
Yeah.
That this is about drawing money here. We're not playing here.
Yeah,
it's great. If you can work under his pressure, you can do anything.
You can work for anybody.
And I think that's a good quality to have. And I'm not and to now, like I said, to now it's so calm.
Yeah,
it's like
it's night and day up there now, man.
It's still. Obviously they're killing it. Paul's killing it, and he has it's just a different mindset now.
Take the money out of it. Would you rather work in today's product or the product that you worked in?
I can't take the money out, brother. I can't. No. You know what? I'd have to be honest. Like I thrived I kind of thrived in the chaos. It just, this is what you were. This is what I was geared
you
for.
the same way?
We can survive. We know this. We know what this is.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that up there now, they don't have a clue. Not one clue, man.
It's just it's crazy. It's just the evolution of how people receive and deal with information.
Yeah.
It is. It's just top to bottom. The evolution of the business is crazy to
And
where
nobody really talks to anybody now. Back in the day, man, we come to work, man. You get in the locker room, you speak, shake everybody's hand. You know what I mean? Great atmosphere. You don't have that now. Some of them guys up there now, they walk by, you don't say one word. Act like they never seen you before.
that would bother me if I was around a lot. That would bother me.
Oh,
and not for me, not to come up to me, but just the camaraderie. That was something I always, when I was in the dressing room full time, that was something I kind of paid attention to. Who came in, and how did they, like when you first get to the building, like my mindset was, I put my bags down, and everybody that's in that dressing room, whether I like you or I don't like you, I go shake your hand,
Right.
say hello, because we were all in that together, and it formed I think a little bit of a trust and a camaraderie. Like you don't have to like each other, but you understood that why we were there
Right.
and what we were there to do, and it's just a respect thing. But I don't know what it's like now. I know a lot of guys stay on their buses, and I got no issue with that. But
And I think the other part too is with cell phones and technology and stuff, guys are able to communicate without necessarily communicating. You know what I mean? Without
it's
sitting
just
there
different.
together, and it is different.
It ain't wrong. It's just different.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah, it's different.
Anywho, so you keep up. You keep up with the boys, Ron and.
I talked to Ron.
Godfather and all
mostly
those?
Godfather, Ron and Godfather, and JBL. I talked to him. You know, I got a dog. I named my dog. Well, every time, when I get to TV, the first thing John would say, Theodore Rufus Long, say my whole name. So when I got this dog, I thought about John, and I said, I'm going to name him Rufus. And so I named my dog Rufus, and I sent John pictures of him. He loves that dog.
What kind of dog you got?
I got a German Shepherd and Pit Bull.
Oh, okay.
I got pictures
All
of
right.
him over there, but he is Mr. Rufus.
Mr. Rufus.
Mr. Rufus. JBL, I don't know if you saw or not, where he did his endorsement of a presidential candidate.
Oh, did you see that? I saw it.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
You have to. It is the greatest setup on a. I don't even know what you call it. He set that up so great.
Because I don't know if you know or not, Teddy, but there's been some wrestlers that have come out and endorsed different candidates. We won't say who.
Okay.
But some wrestlers came out and endorsed some candidates. And JBL, man, he cut a promo. And he decided to endorse Briscoe.
Yeah, he wrote in on his ballot, his write-in ballot. He put Jerry Briscoe.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And then Briscoe put out an ad. It was awesome.
JBL sold it too, though.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
was
when
so
he
good.
opens up, and this is, during
I
this
gotta
political
see that.
environment.
I got
and
to see
everything
that.
else.
I got to see that.
He did a great job selling the whole thing.
Well, that's
And-
what it's supposed to be. This is fun. This is what you're supposed to do, is have fun with this.
Yeah.
At least some guys make it hard and make it miserable. I don't understand that. Why you not having fun?
And I feel like JBL's one of those guys that had fun the whole time he was.
Oh, you having fun right now, wherever he is.
Wherever he's at, he's having a good time.
Right.
I almost guaranteed that he's having a good time.
Yeah.
And he's still doing stuff. I mean, he's still doing stuff in the ring.
Yeah, he just started. I see clips or something where he just goes out and clotheslines the hell out of somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen him doing something. I think he went in AEW and did something with them guys, and then he went to Lucha Libre or something.
Yeah, he's kind of been popping up all over the
Yeah.
place, looking like a cowboy, like a Western guy. Those
He
duster
I
and everything else.
I haven't talked to John in a while, but I think he went and got a bunch of stem cells done, and I think he's feeling like really good. Like his
Feeling
body
young.
is like rejuvenated, and he's he's going out there and getting the most out of it. So
Might be time to go to Tijuana.
I've got tons of stem cells saved up. I just need to use them.
Where do you have them saved up at?
At a bank. So I went to a clinic. So it's called Conover Wellness.
Yeah.
And I went, and then they extracted a bunch of my. I should know more about this if I'm going to talk about it. Basically, they created millions and millions and millions of my own stem cells, and I need to get them re-injected back into me. So maybe I feel a little more.
Teddy, you get around pretty dang good, it seems like. How do you feel?
For 80, geez. What?
I don't worry about the numbers.
The
numbers are going to come.
It's just a number.
I am not old, I am seasoned. Okay? So if I live to see, I'm 77. And if I live to see 79, thank God, I'm alive.
Dang, 77.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought even you.
I don't mind telling them, man. I'm glad to be alive.
Yeah.
Right. And I take care of myself, I understand that pretty much, so I'm just enjoying the rest of my life.
Yeah, a lot of us learn that later in life.
Yeah, I learned it later, but I did catch it in time. Yeah.
When you were reffing and stuff, did you end up taking a bump that might have been like not a typical ref bump, or it was like, okay, that was a little bit harder than I wanted it to be?
One night, I never forget that. He grabbed me and threw me pretty hard, and as he went to throw me out, he threw me so hard and so quick till I couldn't even catch the second rope. You usually catch that second rope and break your fall and didn't go out, but like I said, he grabbed me and just snatched me and threw me out so quick till he hurt me that night. And I never will forget, I went back up through Gorilla, and I remember Vince stopping me that night, and I was just refereeing then, and he said, he told me, don't you ever let anybody do that to you again. I remember him saying that to me that night. Gotta take another scary one. Probably in WCW and NWA I did. I remember one time I was refereeing in Fayetteville, North Carolina at that Cumberland Arena right there. And I remember I was doing something there, and I think Flair grabbed me from the outside, and he's trying to run my head in the table. But he thought I didn't know, but I had been paying attention, since I've been working. He thought I didn't know how to put my hand up. So he was trying to bust my head open, but I did reach and put my hand up before my head went through the table.
Dang.
Man.
That's your boy right there.
I think Flair's he's my number one on Mount Rushmore, absolutely. Yes. For you guys as wrestlers, when it came to the referees and stuff, was there early on, you looked at the referees a little bit different in the sense of like they weren't, the respect wasn't there from the wrestlers, or was there a respect all the way across the board with refs and wrestlers and stuff?
Yeah, with me, and I'll just start from Undertaker. I had to have a really good camaraderie because I asked a lot from the refs.
Yeah,
and it kind of maybe started in a bad place because the refs are taught how to be the authoritative person in the ring, right? They're the ref. They're supposed to keep law and order. But with my character, if the guy I'm working with is selling me as being the big dead guy, then everybody's got to do it.
Exactly.
So I would have to go and sit down with whoever was reffing my match if they hadn't worked with me yet. And I was like, look, this is what I need. Like when I get in the corner and I slap the choke on somebody and you come in and give me the count, when I whip my head and look at you, you're not a ref anymore.
Right. Yeah,
you're just a regular dude. Have to worry about your own health.
Right.
And and some of them would look at me like, well, Vince says. I say, don't worry about what Vince says. I'm telling you how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And then eventually they would go and ask Vince, and he said, oh yeah, you got to sell it. If you don't sell it, why would the other guy sell it, right? And
the other guy's twice your size.
Like exactly, right? So, but you have to have that camaraderie and that trust level with your refs. And most of them would come to me and say, hey, Takes anything special that I need to know? that you need like that. So they understand, like, the WWE refs understood their role, and they wanted to do whatever they could do to make the story that me and whoever I was working with mean that much more. Right. So, I mean, that's just a good ref.
And I'll give you another instance I can tell you too. When I was refereeing in the WWF, I remember when it was Spike Dudley and Dudley Boys. They were like, working, and it was a tag match. And I remember one of the guys went to the outside, and Spike stopped, and he was just like in a daze, and I looked at him. I said, "What's the problem? What's wrong?" You know what I mean? He says, "I don't know what to do." And the guy was like, he had got on the outside, and he was right there at the apron, and I just told Spike, I said, "Baseball slide." And he says, "Yeah, you're right, you're right." And he hit him with the baseball slide because he was right there in position, and he thanked me all night long. All night long, he stopped me. "Thank you so much. I forgot everything. I didn't know what I was going to do next." But that's the referee's job. You got to be paying attention, so if you're really needed, you can help out sometime.
Now, would a wrestler request a certain referee because that referee's worked with them a lot, and you wanted that referee in the ring with you?
Yeah, there were certain refs that if I had something big or if I had a story that I was telling that I wanted, it was important.
Mike Chioda would be one of your select ones. Tim White, God rest his soul, he would be one of them. All the guys in WWE were good refs. Jimmy Corderas, everybody there, man. So you had your choice to, anybody you got was going to be a good ref.
Yeah.
But there were people, like Taker said, that just wanted Mike Chioda. I want Chioda to referee my match tonight, or whoever it was. But
Was there a hierarchy with referees as well, where it's like this ref is the guy that's going to be doing the main event of WrestleMania, and if he did the main event of WrestleMania, that's another like feather in his cap or a different payday for him?
I think that kind of came along with whoever that main event was.
Yeah.
Like you just have people that you gravitate towards and you like their style of reffing. So I'm sure most of my main events I got to choose who I wanted, and I'm sure Steve and everybody else.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a complicated finish.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody in there that you trust and that knows how you do things, and it just it's vital to tell them a good story. Chioda, you mentioned Chioda a couple times. He never, not one. I don't think one time he ever refereed my matches that he did not come to me by myself and say, "Hey, Dake, is there anything I need to know?" I mean, he just always had that in his mind. Like, I need to talk to Taker and make sure of what he wants, and I always really appreciated that.
And he was right that you need to do that. You know what I mean? You got to go talk to the guy so you can know what's going on out there.
Is there a developmental program for refs, like there are for wrestlers now?
I think the way, and I'm not sure about this. Maybe Teddy. I think there's a certain. They go through the process. I think just like they'd come up through the indies, and then they get. They get maybe if they get noticed and they go to NXT.
I mean, I'm like Taker. I don't know for sure, but I do think that there's an area there that they just train that train referees.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think there's people that may not be able to. They know that they're not going to excel maybe as a wrestler, and they fit that certain build type and that size because your referee can't be too big, obviously. Right. So, I would think that was how it. That's a good question. I might have to research that a little bit just for my own curiosity.
Yeah,
now.
I mean it's an important role for a match, as we've talked about.
And we have a lot of women now that are refereeing
that's been
and doing really good jobs.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I think for a ref, and I've noticed it, not so much with the WWE, but your role as a ref, and you correct me, Teddy, if I'm wrong here, is not to. Your whole role is to put the light on whatever the angle is between the two wrestlers, not to try and outshine. Some people they'll over ref or they'll try to make themselves the
It's the old saying, they're in business for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, they're in business for themselves,
Yeah.
and then if you become a distraction to the match because you're in business for yourself, then
Running around, out of position, not being where you're supposed to be. And, there's a lot of things going on out there. There's a hard camera out there you got to play to. Okay, there's a guy walking around with a handheld you got to look for. So you need to get out of the way of that because they're not shooting you. They're shooting the wrestlers. But they make their time where they'll come and shoot the referee. That's when if the referee's involved in the finish. So you got to know exactly what you're doing out there. Stay out of the way. I learned that long time ago. Stay out of the way. Okay, get in position when it's time for you to get in position, or the time for you to make the 3 count or to break up something. Just stay out of the way.
it's an art form, just like being a wrestler and the art of wrestling.
It
There's
really
an art
is,
to,
yeah.
there's an art to being a ref.
So something else that I think has changed a lot in today's wrestling is managers as well. I don't feel like there's any new up and coming managers.
Well,
I feel like you've got the Paul Heyman's.
yeah.
You've got Lord, his name slips my mind now. The Road Warriors' old manager, that's
Paul Ellering.
Yeah,
Precious
yeah,
Paul Ellering.
yeah. So they're still doing it, but there's no. It doesn't feel like there's any new young managers that are coming into play now.
They're not really using them anymore.
I know, and I feel like that's a kind of a lost art form as well now.
It's. I think it may be just like the cycle and the evolution.
Yeah.
But you don't want anybody out there that's not adding to the product, right?
Right.
It's not making. A lot of times, managers, initially, Paul Heyman was great about it, just enhancing. Maybe the guy that wasn't quite comfortable enough on the mic yet, and needed Paul, who could obviously talk for. He can go, he can talk, and he can relay the message and relay the story in a way that can sometimes. I mean, he did that excellent for Brock.
Yeah.
Until Brock eventually learned and figured out what promo worked for him.
Mm-hmm. But doesn't that make what Paul Heyman did with Roman Reigns even better? Because you've got a guy that's essentially has a Hall of Fame career already, and then Paul Heyman comes into the fold with Roman Reigns and essentially turns him heel at that point. And Roman didn't need Paul, and Paul didn't need Roman. I think Roman needed Paul to maybe go heel.
I tell you what, man. Well, that's an incredible run, but Paul deserves his flowers.
1,000.
Roman deserves his as well.
Yes.
Roman, he has come light years from where he was at, and he was already in a good spot, but he came light years. And I think there's a lot of that that he obviously he can take credit for, but Paul needs his credit for
And
it.
and I give him that because I think that's what a manager does, right? A manager like a Paul Heyman can do that for a talent like a Roman Reigns that, has everything and has the full package, but Paul Heyman can put him on another level, and we're missing that now. There's no managers. It feels like there's no managers coming up with anybody, or there's no new guys coming in to be a manager that can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Teddy's right on that.
They're not using them.
They're just not. They're not using them. And I don't know. Like it used to be, a lot of times, like guys would be, they would have personality and have that, but they would just be too small. Well, now it really doesn't matter. I mean, they've got tiny guys that work, and so the guys are actually being able to use their mic skills and help them.
Because I think the thing is what you said about, because I would love to see Gunther have a manager, because and the reason I've come up with this is because of something you said. He needs to put a little bit more chicken in his repertoire.
That I agree with. Yes.
Now you take a manager that can do that for him, that can be a little bit of outside interference, that can can do that stuff. That just puts Gunther on a whole nother level, in my opinion.
Man, he cuts a good promo though.
Yeah,
He doesn't need the manager to cut the promo for him, in my opinion.
Well, he got the other guy. He's got Kaiser too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't want to. Don't mess with my guy. Don't screw my guy up, dude. Because
I think.
I agree.
Let me speak on Gunther. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, and with his accent and the way that he cuts his own promos, I don't really think he needs a manager.
Yeah.
I think he can do it all by himself. The manager, to me, with him would maybe take away from him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He does a good job by himself. I wouldn't put anybody with him.
Stay in your lane, Matt.
I'm
stay in
just
your
over
lane,
here
brother.
with my opinions. They're
Stay in
not
your lane.
expert
Why
by
don't you
any
worry about
means.
getting shoes on first, and then we can get your opinions on.
Yeah,
who
where'd
needs
you
a-
get those shoes at?
He-
Are they really shoes?
They're
or-
No, they're not.
flip-flops.
Oh, they're not.
just-
Okay,
yeah, no, they're just
sorry.
flip flops. Yeah, he doesn't like.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know about the flip. They look like flops, but I don't know about the flip.
Wow, there you go. There you go. I don't know about the
man.
flip, but they sure are flops. That right there, that's a shirt.
Don't help him out.
That's
Teddy.
money.
Don't help him out.
That
They
is-
said that's a shirt right there.
Don't help him out. Oh my
I don't know about the
gosh.
flip, but they're flopping all over the place, player.
He needs to go one-on-one, brother. He needs to go one-on-one.
With the shoe department. Are you watching the product these days?
I watch some of it sometimes. Well, I have a podcast I do.
Yeah.
And so I watch the product, so I'm able to talk about it. Yeah, I don't watch the whole show sometimes. Sometimes they'll do something there and it'll just kill me. You know, I'm like, why would you, yeah, just they.
Who do you like right now?
I like Braun Breaker. I like him. I think he's going to be really good. Jey Uso's doing a great job. I like him. Gunther, what you were talking about there. The other kid there, too, that reminds you of The Rock.
L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight.
Oh, LA Knight. Okay.
Okay, I got you now.
Okay.
He's going under the turnbuckle like The Rock. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was
does.
doing that at one
Yeah.
time, and people start talking about that. They were
Yeah.
trying,
Yeah, it's like if The Rock and Stone Cold had a child, it would
It'd be LA Knight.
be LA
Yeah.
Knight.
Okay.
I didn't say that. I mean, I just said that, but I didn't
This
say
is the
that
first time
originally.
I've heard of that, so I feel like you might be the one coming up with it. So I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I make one crack on your flip flops, and now I'm
Oh, yeah.
I'm pooping
Yeah.
on LA Knight.
Outside of the wrestlers being soft.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right, Teddy, I'm sorry you're going to have to witness this, man. But, you might as well hit him with it. Hey, because as soon as we stop, go ahead, hit him with it.
1-on-1 with The Undertaker.
These flip flops are good for running,
No.
not for fighting.
No, you better just take them off.
You might better throw those.
Because you're going to trip in them, or you better just get your bare foot and take off.
Oh man, yeah. And y'all did have some fun moments though. I mean, that was a fun time when y'all were doing that stuff together. That was, how long did that last? How long was the
Were we
doing
together?
Yeah.
It wasn't but a few months.
You talking about the kidnapping?
Yeah. and all that stuff.
yeah.
I thought
Well,
you
had
were
the-
going back to
No.
WCW.
No, no,
I
I was
was
talking
like,
about the kidnap.
And you doing
Oh.
you going 1-on-1 with the other. I mean,
oh, that went for years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And the other one, the tag team match. That's what made me start doing that. I thought about that too, you
Yeah.
know. So I'd come up tag team match. You know? Yeah.
People loved it. The littlest thing like that. And I feel like probably you guys overthink everything, right? When it comes to what you want to do, or a lot of times
Sure.
where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we got to do this, we got to do this. But then it's also sometimes those simplest things that you listen to this conversation between Vince and Stephanie, and you went,
I found out less is more.
One more time.
Less is more.
Preach.
in so many different ways.
Amen.
But don't bring your personal life into this. Man. Why you got to bring your personal life into this, man? Keep it clean.
Yeah, you having problems?
I've got Bluechew, no problems.
Okay, Bluechew. Is that a gum or what's that?
It's a chewable tablet. that,
I don't know if you.
Well,
Teddy,
you talking to the man that
you got a
invented-
history, Teddy. I don't know if you won't bring
That's
that
what
up.
I'm finna tell him. You talking to the man that invented Bluechew. Oh yeah, I got a history with it.
Go ahead, give me a little bit of that. Go ahead and give me a little bit of that story.
Okay,
Well-
I would love to hear this. Yes.
Well, we had a thing that we call wrestler's court. So anytime you get in trouble or something, or you do the wrong thing, you get a wrestler's court.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I ended up having to go to wrestler's court, and they took me to wrestler's court for selling Viagra to the boys. Okay.
True story.
So, so the day that they served me papers to come to court, I got no lawyer. So I'm wandering around the locker room now trying to find a lawyer. So I end up finding Mae Young, God rest her soul. And I said, I called her. I said, Mae, will you be my lawyer? I said, I'm in wrestler's court. I said, I need a lawyer. Yeah.
He was looking for that sympathy.
So when I got Mae Young and brought Mae Young in, I almost had him, and then Mae Young screwed up and called Viagra Niagara. So that's what got me sentenced. So I got Taker sentenced me to buying chicken and beer for about a month for JBL and somebody else. So I had to buy Kentucky Fried Chicken and beer for about a month.
Hold on. You were selling Viagra.
Yes, get to the
Yes.
root, get to the nuts and bolts of the story. Go ahead. Go
You're
ahead.
selling Viagra to the wrestlers.
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
How did you get the Viagra?
I knew this doctor that would send me samples and stuff, so I had plenty of it. So that's how I ended up selling it. And then at that time, Viagra was kind of brand new to everybody, and so, guys were really excited because I remember one time
I bet they were.
I sold something to Viscera, and God rest his soul, and he come to me and he said to me, he says, well, I don't know what that was. I looked down and I said, whose penis is this? Who does this belong to? Oh, he was real excited, man. He would take them and didn't have no girl around. Oh, yeah.
Recreational, just taking them
to practice.
to practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just taking like a vitamin.
Oh, he'd take them just to take them.
Oh, God. Just to see what would happen.
Bishop was the only guy I know could peel an orange in his pocket.
Oh, what?
I swear to God to you, man.
I don't know if I know what that means.
He'd peel an orange in his pocket. He'd get dressed. I mean, you see him one minute, he'd have a towel, and next minute he'd have all his clothes on. Just that quick. He wouldn't let you see too far, he wouldn't let you see him down low. He just...
There's a lot of man there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's...
He was a big man.
Oh, another thing he said to me, too, he walked up to me, told me one time, he said, yeah, I keep looking down at it, and I keep saying, who's this? Who does this belong to? Is this mine?
So you were getting Viagra, selling it to the boys.
Yes.
Okay.
Made a
Free
pretty-
Viagra. He
made
was
a
getting free Viagra and then selling it to the
So
boys.
that was what the problem
Yes,
was.
that was the
That you
problem.
were getting free Viagra. You had a side hustle.
You had a side, yeah.
Brother, listen, that was good money.
And you were probably selling it cheaper than what the guys could go pay
Oh,
for
yeah,
at
you couldn't.
retail.
Yeah. Back then,
You were cutting a deal.
good deal. I was getting $10 a pop.
That ain't bad at all.
No.
Retail's
Not
probably what, 30, 40?
For 100 milligram.
Yeah. That's called being a friend. And y'all want to
Wait.
convict him.
Wait. Easy to wait. He getting it for free.
Got to put gas in the car. I mean,
Yeah, and then I'm taking a chance, I'm
Yeah.
got it on me, I'm selling pharmaceutical products, and I shouldn't
you got
be.
all the liability.
I don't think it's a class drug.
To Viscera was. Viscera was over there taking it recreationally, like he's going to get high
Oh,
or
he
something.
he did all the time, man. I had a friend for life.
I think Visser was your character witness.
Was he a character witness? That would have been hilarious. If he'd came here and said, no,
it's
he's
okay.
fine. He's
That's
good.
a fair price. It's a fair price.
He's good, guys.
I don't know where he was that day we went to court. We couldn't find him.
Testing product.
He was testing product.
After the conviction, were you still getting? Did that then go where you were still getting free product, but you just started handing it out for free? Then?
Yeah. Well, no, I found new people.
I was say, you cut out the man's revenue source.
So
Yeah, I
you
found
can't tell
new
a wrestler. You can't tell a wrestler anything. You can't tell a wrestler anything because they're gonna let it out. They're gonna let it out, and it's gonna get out amongst the boys. Anything happens in the locker room, it's gonna get out.
Yes, it is.
Was this a full house court? Was this a full
It
court?
was pretty. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was done in a house show, which was the only saving grace. It should have been done at TV, but it was done at a house show.
Yeah.
There's less people, obviously, at a house show than a TV.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely.
You never wanted to go to court at TV.
Not at wrestler's court.
No.
No. You
Was that
knew.
the only one you were ever part of?
Yes.
You only go once. Yeah, once you get up, you don't want to go
make
back.
that mistake no more.
How long do these things last? Because I mean, everyone's heard about these wrestler courts.
Depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes the defendant just throws themselves at the mercy of the court, and judge being an honorable and merciful man, we can usually settle. But sometimes, every once in a while, there would be somebody that would just think they were right. And
Now, where would y'all do these? In the locker room?
most of them were done in the building somewhere.
Yeah, we'd find a broom.
There was
some of the
one.
buildings.
There was one done at a hotel, in a banquet room, and that was a huge one.
Pretty nice.
It was everybody that was on tour was. I mean, everybody left the bar. It was in Australia. I'll never forget it. And everybody was in this banquet room, and it was set up. I mean, there was a witness stand. There was the defense was on one side, the prosecution was on the other side. I'll never forget. There was Larry Heck, our trainer, one of our trainers.
Yeah.
He went out because it had gone so long. This court, I mean, it was really in depth. He went out and had a serving tray like this, those big round ones. And he came in, and it was full of nothing but drinks. And he's walking up to the front, and he trips, and he dropped all of those drinks. He almost got brought up on charges for wasting alcohol.
For getting tripped.
Tripping. Oh my gosh. Is that the stuff you miss the most? I mean, we talk about it a lot, where it's just that camaraderie.
That was the fun, man. A lot of other things, we did and stuff that was all fun. Yeah, I missed a lot of that stuff, man. Yeah, a lot of them now, they're too serious.
Yeah.
Golly.
A lot of it too is they can't do a lot of the stuff that we did.
Yeah.
Just not that what we did was so bad, but you just, in this day and age, everybody's got a cell phone and everything gets blown out of proportion. So I feel, in one sense, like I feel sorry for these guys today, but then I figure out and I look and see how much money they're making, and then I don't feel so bad for them.
Right.
But I think it does kind of hinder that bonding time that we would spend together. But man, that's what I miss the most. I mean, the matches and the sold out crowds, but man, it's just the time with the things that happened in the dressing room, the ribs and the jokes and the good times and even the bad times. But you shared that stuff. You shared it all together, and man, it was good. So you see a lot of the guys like at the cons and the signings and stuff. That's always fun when I see the guys that I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah, me too. I just like seeing them too, man. 'Cause a lot of guys, some of them still, they look good, took care of themselves, and doing other things, and doing the right thing, man. They ain't letting this get to them by not being on TV no more. You got to understand, everything comes to an end.
Yeah.
So.
When's the last time you seen Godfather?
About a month ago.
Oh,
me and him was somewhere. Yeah.
So post his surgery, post his knee surgery, you've seen him?
Yeah.
He's doing good, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen him? He looks
Dude, that's great. He's lost weight. He's killing it. I mean, he doesn't drink anymore.
Lie.
More than what? I mean, he
don't
doesn't drink any more than he always
he used to.
Yeah, where'd you get that from?
No, man, he's out there. He grinds, man. He grinds on the circuit too.
Yeah.
I see him a lot.
But he's in so much better shape now. He's lost all that weight and everything. And I mean, he can.
I started him to doing cardio.
Oh, really?
He'll tell you that.
Yeah, he said he got him a little gym set up there at his house, and he's
Dude, he used to be a load.
Yeah,
He was huge.
Yeah, you just can't. The older you get, though, you just can't keep carrying that weight like that. I mean, that's
You ain't got. It ain't got trying to be because you was a wrestler. You just get your health in shape for your own self.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with your wrestling.
But something you said just now, though, is a lot of guys have a problem with it coming to an end in their career. And did you have any issues like when you finally stepped away? Was it like because a lot of guys they thrive for that spotlight, or they thrive for that excitement of being on TV or whatnot.
Well, a lot of them do, but like I said, everything comes to an end.
Yeah.
Summer changes the winter. It's just that simple. But if you stayed around, God bless me to stay around long enough to become a brand, you know what I mean? So I'm still relevant, so people still react to me. I walk out on indie shows, I still get a huge pop. The last time I walked out on TV, I got a huge pop. I said something to Road Dogg about it, and I said, no, Road Dogg said something to me. He said, damn, Ted, you got a hell of a pop out there. So I said, well, why don't you tell Hunter that? And he said he heard it, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
But I just laid that, put that seed right there.
Put a little seed in the ground there.
Yeah.
Well, you never say never in this business, man.
No.
How long was Paul off TV? Paul Ellering off TV, and now he's back.
Yeah. Jesus. 5, 6, maybe longer.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
But you just never know in this business where someone's that idea is gonna spark, and but you can't live for that. Like once you get this, like you can't. You've got to move on, and if that's something like that happens and it's right for you, then obviously you take advantage of it. But you can't live once you.
You're right, Taker. That's the way I look at it. If they call me, fine. If they don't, life goes on.
Yeah.
I got to continue to live.
Yeah. I think just the fans themselves just loved you and loved your character and loved everything you did in the business, from reffing to manager to GM to all and everything in between. You know, it's. Like for me, my first memory was you with Doom, like I said, you know, and that's what I remember. And I remember you as a ref, and I remember the stuff you did with Taker and all. And I think that's what makes a great career, and it makes a guy like you when people see you at a signing or when they see.
Well,
they lived with you. They
Had the
grew up with
opportunity to work with people like Taker, you know, because I learned a lot from him too, man. You know, we up and down the roads and stuff. So I had the opportunity to work with a lot of people, the Harley races and stuff. People I learned from, like I mentioned, Gary Hart. Skandar Akbar, I had a chance to sit down and he talked to me for a while. A lot of people don't remember some of these people I'm talking about now, but these were people that knew this business. They were geniuses, and I just was lucky enough to sit down and be able to get some of that knowledge.
Man. What do you got? You got anything? You got anything coming up as far as the
I'll
cons?
just mention my podcast. I got a podcast that Mac Davis and myself do. It's called Road Trip After Hours. You can find us on YouTube and everywhere else. And that's about all I'm doing. I mentioned I was coming here to do your podcast, and so that's pretty much. I'm pretty much caught up right now, unless you get a call in this business. You know, somebody may call you tonight, tomorrow. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, man, I'm just enjoying my life and just having a good time.
Well, that's good to hear, man. That makes me happy. That makes me happy, man.
So I always like to end the show on this.
What is it?
Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Taker.
You give 4.
Taker. I'd say Stone Cold. JBL. Ron Simmons.
Wow. So JBL and Ron Simmons are new ones for this podcast. Why do you put those guys on the Mount Rushmore?
Because they were the best. And they still, well, they're not wrestling anymore, so I won't say they still are, but they were the best. They was a great tag team. The APAs, and nobody could touch them. And they were also, a lot of people don't know, but they were also Vince's hitmen. So
I never really talked much about that.
and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
And on that note,
But you know, I don't think a lot of people give Ron Simmons the credit that he deserves, in my opinion. I think Ron Simmons was. I think he should be on more people's Mount Rushmores than. I mean, he was really, really good.
he was good, and he's the only man that I know that could scare you to death he could tell you the alphabet and scare you to death with his voice. It was like, damn.
You ever hear the story where I left him in the snow?
No.
You never hear that?
Well, please share.
All right, let me hurry up.
Yeah, you got all.
You got all the time in the world,
Well,
sir.
one day we did the show in Syracuse, New York, and we had to drive over to Albany. That's where we were going. So after we get through with Syracuse there, we stopped and we got beer. So I'm going down the road, it's snowing and everything, so we're drinking beer and everything. So as you drink beer, you gotta use the bathroom. You gotta take a leak. So there's no bathrooms. We can't stop. We're in New York. You got to go 15 miles you can get to an exit. So what we did, everybody's got a pee. So what I do, I pull off to the side. So I pull off to the side. All of us, we get out of the van. And by the snowing, we got away with it. Everybody got out and pissed. So I think I was the first one back in. Godfather, he was with us. JBL, he got back in. So I'm not really paying much attention. I see people getting in, but once JBL got in, I think they shut the door. So when they shut the door, I thought everybody was in.
Wait, not to interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt. But
okay.
There was probably something more than beer just being.
Well, of course we.
Okay,
had,
I just want to make sure.
Well,
when you mention Godfather,
we
smoky.
Well, you got to have that too.
Yeah.
Okay. keep. All right.
That's like your dessert.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that all the elements were covered. In
That's
the
the only
story.
reason I was in the truck, because Godfather was there. So anyway, they tell me they close the door, so I take off. So John looks over at me and says, "Goddamn, what are you doing?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You just left run." He's cussing me. I mean, he's just ripping me. So I done got about, I guess, maybe a mile down the road. So I pull over.
Holy shit.
So I can't go to the next exit because, like I said, just 15 miles. So now I get back on the side and I back the van all the way back. I back up almost a mile back on the side so I could go pick him up. So when we get back there, I see him. This is where he said damn before he ever said it on TV. So we pull back up. They open the door, and he's standing there, and he's covered with snow. He looks just like a snowman. He's covered in snow. And he looks up at me, and he says, "Damn, Long."
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd have went back. I don't know.
I had no choice. I had to go back. I'm outnumbered. Their Godfather's cussing me. John is cussing me, so I got to go back.
What that doesn't make sense to me is it took a mile before anyone goes, "Hey, you left Ryan back there."
Well, that's why I had to get that other part of the story out. That's why that's now it all makes
Everyone's a
sense.
little inebriated. And
Yeah,
they
the
realize.
reflexes are a little slower.
Well, that's why I forgot. I thought everybody was in the car.
Now, see there how we did that? How we put all that together?
Oh, my Lord have mercy. Gosh, I feel like y'all have forgotten more stories.
Dude, I can
Did you?
promise you.
Oh, yeah.
I can promise you.
Yeah, that's, man, those days, I hope the guys now are developing these types of stories. And they're making these memories somehow. You know what I mean? On a different scale.
On a different scale, a different way. But
Yeah.
it's fun to be able 20 years later to sit down and the statute of limitations have run out.
And that's where you probably experienced this too, is for him, talking wrestling is not necessarily what he wants to do on a daily basis. But whenever when we have guys come in that he worked with for 20 years, 30 years or whatever,
Yeah.
I can see it in you where it's fun.
Yeah.
Like you actually have fun having those conversations.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
Well, we're telling the truth, and this is fun. We had fun doing the things we did. There were bad times and there were good times, but you make the best of it.
Yeah.
You work hard and you play hard too. I guess that was kind of the way we work hard, we play hard.
You never tell the stories of, oh man, you remember that time that we got that suite at the Omni and we went to bed at 9 p.m. and slept so got a full 8 hours. And the sheets felt good.
Ain't none of that never happened.
You never
about no suite at the Omni. might have been a suite over at the Red Roof or Motel 6 somewhere.
Mosey Wozy.
the suite at the Red Roof was one where you had 2 rooms with adjoining doors.
Nice.
And you had that door in the middle. You could open it up. You could go into each other's
Nice.
room. We got ourselves a 2-bedroom suite tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do today, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
I've been out of them hotels so long time. I don't even hardly sleep in them. When I go somewhere and I got to get up, I don't even go to sleep. I just get up and go get my flight and come on home.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't sleep in them no more. It's hard to sleep in them. I guess I don't know.
I live in them at this point.
I
mean,
know. Well,
yeah.
I got used to that, but now I've been at home for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I say anytime I can go back home, I go back home.
Yeah.
I'd rather be at home and be out here on the road because
Home's
anything
nice.
can happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Teddy,
Yeah.
I've had a blast today.
Matt got educated today. Matt got a little bit of education today.
Well, the only thing he didn't learn is something to do about his feet.
I know, I'm working on
If we
it.
could educate him on working with his feet and getting
Preach.
these shoes.
I know it.
Well, you said they're not shoes.
They're not shoes. They're flops.
Flops,
Flip flops.
okay.
Yeah.
Flip flops.
No,
Yeah.
no, leave the flip off.
They're just flops.
They're just flops.
Just flops.
Have you looked at them lately?
Yeah, they look good.
Flops.
I got these from Mexico. These are good ones.
Oh,
You
well,
need to-
there you go.
You know, you need to remain in Mexico.
Yeah.
Those what those
Hey.
do.
That's
Deporte.
Oh, Teddy, thank you, man. This was fun. I appreciate you making time for us, and I appreciate you, leaving the house because I believe me,
he don't like leaving.
I
it
don't
either.
like leaving the house either.
You
so
understand? Yeah.
I do understand.
Bro, I was
100%.
up at 4 o'clock this morning. I said, I got to get over here and take care of Taker. So I got up.
I greatly appreciate it.
Hey, I thank y'all for having me, Dan. Thank you so very much. And if I can ever come back, I'll be happy to do that.
Well, Teddy, you're always welcome back. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything you've done. You made my childhood fun. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
And that I appreciate. And can you hit it with us? Can you hit it one more time before we leave?
One-on-one with The Undertaker.